Alright guys, let's do this first preview video I've really done in a few weeks, and luckily I haven't really been missing out. The Jaguars have been awful the last few weeks. Actually, maybe not awful. I mean, can you really say the Jaguars have been awful in any game this year? The Jaguars, every single loss has been by one possession. So the Jaguars haven't been completely terrible. Like, I think that this team, honestly, if I'm looking at it objectively, it's like a slightly below average team that just straight up can't take over a game and win it. I know everyone's saying, "Oh, we got to learn how to like win games." Like we had to at some point just win a game. I don't even care like learning how, whatever. I'm getting a little bit off track. Look, the Jaguars are playing the Raiders this Sunday at 1 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. The Raiders come into this game 2-5, while the Jaguars are 2-6. Raiders are a 2-point favorite this game, 2-point away favorite, which is also interesting because the Jaguars the last 2 weeks have been the favorite. And this time when they're playing a 2-5 team, they are actually the underdogs. But I will say right now, the Raiders feel a lot worse about being 2-5 than the Jaguars. I mean, the Raiders were a team that went to the playoffs last year. They were trying to take that step forward. You know, they got rid of, they were another team that got rid of their coach midseason for different reasons. I mean, John Gruden left for, we all know why he left. Then Rich Bisaccia stepped in and did a pretty good job. Led them to the playoffs when a lot of people thought that was going to be a possibility. And then this year, they decide to finally be able to bring in Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels has been kind of ducking different head coaching jobs, and he finally took the Raiders job, and they really went all chips in. I mean, they traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Devontae Adams, then gave him a big contract. They gave Chandler Jones a 3-year, $51 million deal. I mean, they went out there and spiced up the roster, got better in different areas so they could be able to compete in what was looking like a pretty daunting AFC West, which right now every team outside of the Kansas City Chiefs are kind of disappointing this year. So why are the Raiders 2-5? A big thing is Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr, he's 63% completion percentage, 1,621 yards, 9 touchdowns versus 5 interceptions, which his numbers are actually pretty similar to Trevor Lawrence. And, man, this is his 9th season as the Raiders quarterback, which is pretty wild. I mean, he's been around for a long time. 6 different head coaches he's had. He's coming off of a 24-0 loss versus the Raiders versus the Saints. And Derek Carr, I mean, he is kind of what I fear Trevor Lawrence might be, like, because Derek Carr, he's too good to get rid of, and but at the same time, he has some really good games. But when they really need him to step up, he doesn't, and you're kind of swimming around, and you have good rosters, but you're kind of sinking a little bit because of Derek Carr, because he can't take you over the top. And I know he's really been at the center of a lot of just, Raiders fans being, this quarterback controversy. I mean, the whole entire time he's been there, there's been quarterback controversy with Derek Carr. So, yeah, we're going to have to disrupt Derek Carr a little bit. Josh Jacobs has really been their MVP this year, especially on offense. 676 yards rushing to 6 touchdowns. He's been running all over the place. He was especially good 3 out of the last 4 weeks. But the thing with the Raiders, another big thing holding them back is just the defense. I mean, when you look through the defensive numbers, they're 32nd in takeaways, 32nd in sacks, 29th on third down defense, and they're 31st in red zone touchdowns allowed. So, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, the thing about the Raiders is that when you compare the Raiders versus the Jaguars is, the Raiders defense is bad and the Jaguars defense is just unclutch. The Jaguars defense, we could be in a situation where it'll be Jaguars defense will allow 0 points through the first 57 minutes of the game. But if the other team gets the ball back with 3 minutes left, the defense is going to find a way to fold and allow that team to go on for a touchdown or whatever they need to get. I mean, that happens seemingly every time. This defense cannot make a clutch stop, just straight up. And that's what's very, very frustrating is, we'll have a lead, then the defense gives it up, then the offense can't go out there and score a touchdown. So we're definitely losing as a team when it comes to defense folding, offense not playing well, then coaching just being just the coaching staff not being great at times. I mean, I love Doug Peterson, and I do have trust in him, but hey, we're so, I wouldn't say young, but we're very new. We have a lot of new parts in play when it comes to just all the different things going on with this team. So when you look at this game, like I really do feel like this is another game where it's like the last team who gets the ball is going to win. Because we know, look, the Raiders' defense is bad. This has to be a get-right game for the Jaguars' offense. I mean, Trevor Lawrence needs to have a good game. They are very susceptible to running backs running all over them. I mean, Travis Etienne has been spectacular. I mean, trading J-Rob is looking like a pretty good thing because it really opened things up for Travis Etienne. And, I had some people on Twitter coming at me saying, like, oh, we should be giving, kept James Robinson, give him the ball some. And I'll tell you what, when I see Travis Etienne have the ball in his hands, I don't sit there and fantasize about giving those touches to James Robinson. I mean, Travis Etienne has been a stud. I mean, I always knew he had speed, but what I didn't realize is that he has a lot of power, man, like a lot of lower body strength. I mean, he stays upright, and he is just a really, really good running back, and he's now kind of coming into his own. It's been a long time in the making. We drafted this guy like 19 months ago, and now we're finally seeing it pay off. Not 19, whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to do number. We drafted him a year and a half ago. Let's say that. We're finally kind of seeing what he can do, and it's very, very exciting. So, yeah, get right game. Trevor Lawrence has to be on point this game. I mean, you're playing against a bad defense. You need to score against a bad defense. I mean, straight up. We have red zone struggles. They're 31st in red zone touchdowns allowed. We need the receivers to step up. We need everything to open up for us. And come on, man. I also have some beef with the play calling in the red zone. Look, when you're first and goal at the 1 yard line, why don't we just line up in a single back set under center and try to run it that way? I'm tired of the first and goal, let's roll out to the right, and no. That's, maybe on a fourth down call if you want to do it, but let's try to punch it in. Later on in the game against that Broncos game, we did wind up running the ball and we get the touchdown. So, yeah. Now, this is also a game where, look, the defensive line, we have to actually, before I get into that, my biggest worry about this game is not Josh Jacobs, because the Jaguars defense, what they're able to do really well, they're able to take, it seems like, a part of the opposing team's offense and take it out of the game, but so really if they focus in on Josh Jacobs, they're going to be able to stop Josh Jacobs. What I worry about is Devontae Adams, because we have a very good cornerback in Tyson Campbell, and Darius Williams is pretty good too, but outside of that, I mean, Trey Herndon isn't good, and we have a big hole at that spot. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, like, is Tyson Campbell going to follow around Devontae Adams? I don't see it happening with this defense at this moment, just because usually when it comes to that, usually it's a pretty veteran defense, and because, like, if Devontae Adams were to line up on the far left, then if he comes into motion and he goes to the other side of the offensive line, you're doing a lot of shifting, especially if it's zone. You're kind of have to figure out a lot of stuff on the fly, and there's just so many new additions. I mean, when you look at that, the front, everybody outside of the back two safeties, when you look at that, the guys in coverage, you have Darius Williams, first year on the team. You have linebackers Foye Oluokun. You have Devin Lloyd. Just a bunch of guys that are their first year on this team. In this defense, and that's another thing I was saying earlier. Like, this isn't necessarily a young team, but there's a lot of newness here. So at this moment right now, with the state of this defense, I don't think we're good enough to allow Tyson Campbell to just follow around Davante Adams. It's because it's going to create a lot of confusion. And then, maybe like Hunter Renfrow gets open, or I don't know if Darren Waller will be playing this game, but I just think you have to play to what your defense does and what you're used to, and kind of roll with it like that. So that's my biggest worry, and I really hope the defensive line can finally get some pass rush. I mean, it's just been, I don't know what happened to the pass rush. It's it's almost like teams have figured out this defense, and they know it's like, okay, like, what we can do against the Jaguars defense, we can, let's get away from the run game. Let's do the run game through like the short pass game. Okay, if we get the ball out really quick, get some crossers going, we're going to be able to win that game that way. That's feels like what's been happening. So yeah, we have to figure out, I mean, we have to let the coaching battle win. You know what I mean? Mike Caldwell, we were ready to give him a head coaching job somewhere at the start of the year, and now it just hasn't been as good. So a lot of things going on. I hope the defensive line can get some pass rush. Just good games out of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, just all around, man. I mean, when I look at this game, I don't have a very good feeling about it. I just don't. I don't know why. I think just Davante Adams might be too much for us, and the Raiders. I mean, the worst thing the Raiders could have done was lose 24-0 last week, because now they're hungry. Now they're desperate for a get-right game. And we are the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are the perfect get-right game for other teams. Right now, the Jaguars are 2-6, so this season is what it is, man. I'm hoping for a victory. I'll be at the game, so I won't be streaming. Hit me up if you're going to be at the game. Hopefully I get to enjoy a W. So with all that said, let me know what you guys think about this game. And yeah. Thank you for watching, and thank you for getting me to 15,000 subscribers. This is UCF Jaguars, and I'm out.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, too much for your crew to handle. Keep it lit, and this is the #1 YouTube channel by UCF Jaguar. Yeah, we about to blast off. If you've been a fan, then this is the dopest platform. Yeah, never hold back. Gotta represent for the teal and black.